A very good morning and welcome to Nigeria Stock Market Update. It's a new week and it's worth looking forward to. A lot is going to happen this week, and then just get it going by telling you how the market is. The market, how it closed on Friday. So, of course, by now the market has not opened. The Nigerian Stock Exchange is not open like every other market. But how did it end on Friday? Because how it ended on Friday is how it's going to open today. That's where the market is going to take off from this morning. So last week, as you saw, there was a lot happening. Investors gained, a lot of stocks went down, many went up, which is normal stock market activity. And investors, like I said, they did make a lot of profit. Some lost. That's just how the market is. Some lose, some win. You win some, you lose some. So last week was exciting, and on Friday, the market closed in a very exciting way. So let me give you the top five losers, the stocks that lost the most at the exchange when the market closed on Friday. Like I said, that's how they are going to open this morning. So the top five losers on Friday, that's how the market is going to open this morning. The top five losers, beginning from McNichols. McNichols was at number 5. It lost 9.91% of its share price. Mark Nichols. Many of you might not have heard of the name, but it lost 9.91% of its share price. Zikis Agro Allied Industries. It closed also on a bearish note. It lost 9.94% of its share value. That is Zikis for you. Ikeja Hotel was among the top 5 losers as well. Ikeja Hotel lost 9.96% of its share value. So Ikeja Hotel lost 9.96% of its share value. Before I continue with the top 5 losers of last week, let me tell you also other things that are happening on the stock exchange, how the other things that you probably wouldn't know that happened on Friday. And like I said, how the market closed on Friday is how it's going to open this morning. So apart from the top 5 losers, apart from the top 5 gainers, also this is what is happening. The market is like this. Number 2, meanwhile, the second stock that lost the most here or on Friday, that is Guinness. Guinness also took a heavy beating on Friday. Guinness shares closed in a very, very hard, a big downfall on Friday, but I'll come back to that. So on the market this morning, this is how it is. This is how the market is currently. Access Holdings closed with 0.2% down. Access Holdings, that's the parent company of Access Bank of Nigeria. It closed on a bearish note, losing 0.2% of its share price. Also, Consolidated Hallmark closed at a very 0%. That was decent. It didn't lose anything. It didn't end the week on a losing note. It closed at 0%, which is good for the shares. Also, on Friday, Deep Capital finished, was among the top 5 losers. Of course, it lost 7.78% of its share price. Deep Capital lost over 7% of its share price. That was how it closed on Friday. Geregu was good. Geregu was at 0%. It didn't take any further plunge. Geregu was at 825 naira 70 kobo when the market closed on Friday. That was how Geregu Power ended. Also on Friday, Nigeria Exchange Group, it ended on a positive note. It didn't lose any value. It ended at 139 naira. That is Nigeria Exchange Group. Living Trust was among the top 5 losers. It lost more than 9%. Living Trust Mortgage Bank lost over 9% of its share value on Friday, and that's how it's going to open today. Also, apart from that, VFD closed on a bullish note. It closed at over 1% of VFD Group. It was up by 1.44%. And that's VFD Group for you. Mikhail Industries, which had its AGM on Thursday, Mikhail Industries, which had its AGM on Friday, it ended 0%. It didn't get anything. The share price ended at 85 naira 45 kobo. That is Mikhail Industries. MTN had a superb week. It was up a couple of times last week, but on Friday it closed at 0%. It didn't have any gain. It was going for 810 naira. That is MTN. MTN closed at 0%. It was still bullish anyway. It is trading for 810 naira. Cadbury had a good week. It closed on 1.42. Cadbury had a good week. It closed over 1% up and is trading. So it's going to open at 62 naira 8060 kobo. That is Cadbury. Cadbury is going to open this morning on a bullish note, 1.62% up and at 62 naira 60 kobo. Chemical and allied product also did well. It closed on a high 0%. It didn't lose any value. Omatech Ventures was among those that took a heavy hit on Friday. It lost over 7% of its value. Over 7% of its value. First Bank closed marginally on a bearish note. It lost 0.5%. First Bank closed marginally on a bearish note, losing 5% of its value and was trading for 69 naira 20 kobo. Remember last week also, First Bank or First Holding, the parent company of First Bank, it had a good week. The shares were up at one time over 9%, but on Friday it closed on a bearish note, lost 0.5% of its share price, and is going to open this morning at 69 naira 20 kobo. Also, GTCO also closed on a bearish note. It lost 0.71% when the market closed on Friday. GTCO was trading from 126 naira. That's how it's going to open this morning. So continue with the top 5 losers. Also on that list is Guinness Nigeria. Guinness lost 9.99% of its value and is trading for 329 naira as of when the market closed. That is Guinness. Now, who are the top 5 gainers? You've seen who the top 5 losers are. You've seen who the top 5 losers are. Omatech Ventures among them, losing over 7% of its share value. Martinecos losing 9.91% of its value. Zikis, the Agro Allied Industry PLC, lost 9.94%. Ikeja Hotel had a heavy fall as well. It lost 9.96% of its value on Friday, selling right now, trading at 42 naira 50 kobo. Guinness also took a heavy beating on Friday, lost 9.99%, trading for 329. So those are your top 5 losers. Before I tell you the top 5 gainers when the market closed on Friday, the top 5 gainers of the market when it closed on Friday, let me give you some other info. PZ closed at 0%. It didn't take any beating, it didn't take any fall, and it didn't go up. PZ was trading for 90 naira per share, and that's how it's going to open this morning. PZ 90 naira per share. Among those who gained last week, among the stocks that did well last week, you had TIP, the initiatives. It closed marginally on a bullish note at less than 1% up and is trading for 30 naira 80 kobo. Among Among the gainers of last week also, we had Transcorp Hotels. Though Transcorp Hotels closed at 0% up, but it didn't lose anything. It's going for 223 naira 30 kobo. That is Transcorp Hotels. UAC closed on a bullish note. UAC closed at over 1% up. At over 1% up, and is trading from 184 naira 95 kobo. UAC closed on a bullish note on Friday. Now, who are the top 5 gainers? Which stocks are the top 5 gainers at the close of business on Friday? UPDC gained 6.33% of its share price. UPDC was up by 6.33%. So that was at number 5. Jais Bank also made the top 5 gainers of Friday list. It made the list. It closed at over 6% up and was trading for 9 naira 2 kobo. That is Jais Bank. It made the top 5 gainers list. Also, there is NEM Insurance. NEM Insurance also made the list. It gained over 9%. It was up by 9.61%. So NEM Insurance ended the week trading at 27 naira 95 kobo. So those are 3 of your top 5 gainers. I'll tell you the other 2 before this update is over. So what else is happening in the market, and what are we looking forward to see this morning? Arade Holdings, the AGM is coming up later this month. So if you are a shareholder of Arade Holdings, check out, be on the lookout for the invite. The AGM is coming up later this month. I'm going to be talking to you more as the day of the AGM approaches. So if you are a shareholder in Arade Holdings, be on the lookout. Also, among the gainers of last week, the close of business on Friday, was Nationwide Express. Nationwide Express was up by over 2%. It closed on a very bullish note, 3 naira 35 kobo, over 2% up. That's Nationwide Express was among the gainers for the end of the week. Also, Lotus Halal ETF did well at the close of business last week. It was bullish. It ended the week trading at 126 naira 10 kobo. Lotus Halal ETF exchange traded fund ended the week trading at 126 naira 10 kobo. Charms also finished last week on a bullish note. Charms finished last week trading at over 2% up. It went bullish, finished the week at over 2% up. Yes, so who are the top 2 gainers? I've given you out of the top 5 gainers for Friday. UPDC is number 5. UPDC was up by 6.33%. UPDC was up by 6.33%. Jais Bank was up by 6.36%. Also, NEM Insurance closed the week at 9.63% up. That is NEM Insurance. It closed 9.6%. So who are the top 2 gainers at the close of business last week? Can you take a guess which 2 stocks are the top 2 that gained the most at the close of business? If you know who they are, or if you can guess, put your comment down. Let me see whether you're spot on. All right, while you're thinking of that, number 2 on the top 5 gainers at the close of business on Friday was International Breweries. International Breweries was up by 9.92%. International Breweries was up by 9.92% up, and it was trading for 13 naira 30 kobo at the close of business on Friday. At the top of the 3, the stock that gained the most at the close of business on Friday is NIDF. You probably haven't heard the name of the company before. It's Nigeria Infrastructural Debt Fund. It's on the Nigeria Stock Exchange. Yes, NIDF. It was the stock that gained the most at the close of business last. It gained 10%. It was up by 10% at the close of business on Friday. So those are your top 5 gainers for the end of last week. And remember, that is how they are going to be when the market opens this morning. The market opens at 9:35. The Nigeria Stock Exchange opens at 9:35, and anything can happen when the market is open, because number one is that the investors have had the weekend. As I've always said, the first working day of the week is always very busy. Investors have had a long weekend. Sometimes some have lost money, so they are in a rush to recoup. Even institutional investors, they've probably got new mandate from their client, and they want to get in. So I'm going to give you the update later in the morning of how the new working week is. So thank you for joining. I'll see you later in the day with another update. Enjoy the rest of your morning.